Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us at World of Pets podcast. We love having you here on a weekly basis. And, we want our pets to live as long as possible, but we want that to be a good quality life. So to that end, we on this podcast explore all things about pets and animals so that we can have them around for a long time, but they are living a quality life. So again, thank you for joining us. Take it away, hosts.
All right, welcome to World of Pets podcast. We're sponsored by debspets.com. That's DEBSPETS.com. And we had a very entertaining pre-show, so I'm just going to bring in Peyton Pooh here.
What's up, Peyton?
Very cute.
Hey, if there's one thing Peyton knew how to do, it's call audibles. So you got this, brother.
All right. Well, Anthony, welcome in. Andrew, thank you for being a guest. Tonight, you're the one that's picking the topic, and I really am intrigued by what we're going to talk about tonight.
Fantastic. When you say you, do you mean me?
Yeah, you.
Okay, because
we have this deal that we spent. No, I'm just kidding. No, yeah,
and-
we get to talk about your passion.
all right, my passion, I have a number of passions, but one of them is photographing animals and more specifically pets. So it's been something I've been doing for over 25 years. I've been taking pictures, very cute, of people and their pets for over 30 years, but I particularly enjoy either going out into like a dog park or to someone's home or just having a beautiful background, or now I'm able to do it virtually and then I direct people all over the place, including places like Australia. So it's just wonderful to celebrate every moment. And the fact is, so many of us forget that we have this amazing tool at our disposal. And that's one of the messages I always like to get out is take more pictures, and then I'll try to help guide you so that those pictures look as good as they can.
Well, you mentioned Australia. How many times have you been there?
No, I haven't been to Australia at all, but I do photography virtually, and this is something that came about as we entered the pandemic. I learned that some photographers were doing photo sessions virtually over Zoom or FaceTime if they're an Apple iPhone user. And so I started to experiment a bit. And I didn't really think that much about it because I was really focused heavily on my consulting. I help people manage their phones and their computers. But then I realized this is really something that's a game changer. And I don't now have to lug out all my equipment. I don't have to worry that a cat may be hiding somewhere and I won't be able to photograph the cat, or a dog is barking because it sees a stranger. So they don't know. They just see their loving owner there, and I direct them, and I'm able to get beautiful photographs, both still and video. So that's what's exciting about things like Australian photography.
Sure. So what is the strangest pet that you've ever photographed?
It's the one that surprised me the most was a potbelly pig. And so luckily it was in a fairly big studio space that I rented, and beautiful pig. And the owner dressed the pig up in some really wonderful clothing. And what was funny is she said, my pig, I forget the pig's name, but she said she's really a ham.
I get it. I like it.
That was one of the funniest things I've heard when I photographed them, and it turned out really well. And I used it for some of my books, and so that's the one that comes to mind. And then I've photographed a number of different animals, but one that was fun was a cat And they brought their bird too. So the bird is perched right here and the cat's right here. And so that was fun to kind of see them together in a photograph. I hadn't done that until that time. So yeah, but generally it's dogs and cats for the most part. And I love photographing horses, although I haven't photographed as many as I would like.
I would think like the strangest ones would be like reptiles, like a snake, like this person cuddling with the snake, and really all the snake's doing is like coiling tighter and tighter, or something like that, and they're like, take a picture, like that'd be weird.
Yeah, I haven't been asked, but I probably will. But birds for sure, and even fish, because there's some incredible fish, and I love photographing fish in aquariums. So you get the whole range. But what I love for like 80%, 70% of people is helping them to photograph their dogs, because that is something that anyone can do better for the most part, unless you're really good at it. And I'm happy to share some of my favorite tips if you'd like to hear them.
Sure, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, number one, if you want a picture of the dog looking up at you lovingly with anticipation, then you just employ a friend, and that friend will hold a treat, because as we know, most dogs are very motivated by food. And right above your
So
lens
much.
or your camera, and you can get some really amazing images. So that's one. And then another one is to get down on the level of your pet. So now this may entail getting on the grass, for example, and then you may want to put down a waterproof blanket or something like that. But what I can do, I included some for our director, but I can put them up here too. So I have some in digital form, but also this is a perfect example of getting down on the animal's level. And this is from
Yeah.
one of my books, which features about 50 dog photographs with funny sayings. And this one is sleeping dogs lie and lie and lie.
I love it, dude. That's
So,
great.
and sometimes it's great just to go from above. So there's all kinds of different ways you can get these amazing angles. And so I'll reference some from time to time, but this is one from above, a Dalmatian, one of my clients' homes. And this one is just two words. You able to see that? Clash brilliantly.
Flash brilliantly. Yeah.
And these are all philosophical sayings that dogs might say if they were
Thank you
philosophers.
for your thoughts. Got it. So, how many books have you written?
4. I've had 4 books published, and most of them are kind of how-to. This one was the one art book so far out of the group. But the first one is a 500-page book all about how to make better prints, which is what got me into the whole world. From photography, I went into printing, and that made all the difference, because people love to have pictures on their phones, but really, until you make a print, that photograph is not really realized in its ultimate presentation. And so I got into printing many years ago, and it's been incredible to explore that. And that's my favorite thing, either to make prints for myself or my clients. I'll give you an example. I have 2 prints from a recent photo session that I did over Zoom. And here's a gentleman named Tyler Gines and his beautiful, I believe that's a Frenchie. You can check me on that. Probably. I'm pretty sure. And here's another one. Same gentleman. So I love making prints. And what's nice about this is a 8-ply mat. So if you were to trying to show the thickness of this compared to a normal mat, everyone knows what a mat is, I'm sure, but this is double the thickness of a normal mat. So you get this beautiful look when you put it in a frame. And what I like about this when I work with my clients is that I'll give them this and it's ready to go into any 11 by 14, in this case, frame, which you can find anywhere. So you can get the exact style that you want. I don't need to spend hours with them. If you've ever been to a frame shop, you know what that can be like, to try to pick the perfect frame. And some people are very particular. This way, I create this for them, and then they can do the rest. And I recommend, if you want to give someone one of the most special gifts, make a print for them. There's many places you can make color prints, and get either a mat with a frame together, or just a mat, put it in there, and it's something that people will treasure, often so much more than another, just insert here, a gift that you might give someone for a
So
holiday.
let me ask you this, Andrew, because like you mentioned matte, right? So I understand like the difference between matte and gloss and all that stuff. Uh, when you say matte specifically in photography, what does that mean?
This is so first we have the backing board, and then we
Okay.
have the print, and then we have the mat for the print. It holds the print down, and it's very thick, as you can see here, compared to a normal mat, which is about half the thickness. And what it does is it separates it from the glass or the plastic.
Okay.
And then as far as the paper, this is a matte paper as opposed to a glossy surface. And then if you put it in front of glass, the glass will also make it glossy again. But each thing has its own role in the whole presentation.
Okay. Boy, that's good to know. Anthony, next question. I'm like trying to trying to see the chat.
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm trying to monitor YouTube as well. I guess we're having some issues with the YouTube chat. I had asked some folks to send us or tell us about their favorite picture of their fur babies. But anyway, so
Okay.
All right.
So one of my clients, do you want me to recount an example of someone's
oh, you
favorite
can
photograph?
if you want to. Yeah. Why
Okay.
don't you tell us some of the favorite photo shoots your clients
Okay.
have?
Bring it on.
So,
Bring it
for
on.
example, I'll give you an example right here. These two Shih Tzus I photographed for one of my clients, and she absolutely loved this background with them. And this is just an example. Whether your background is a shag carpet, or this is like a rose type blanket or fabric, and it really looks like roses. And
Oh, absolutely.
the look that you can get when you place your dogs or cats or anything on these types of surfaces is wonderful. And it could be something as simple as a tablecloth. It just takes a very little bit of thought, and that can make all the difference in the way the image looks. Oh, here is our potbelly pig. Okay, are you ready?
Yay! Potbelly pig.
Oh, look at little Hammy.
Yes. There that one is. And then here are two lovely dogs who are
Lovers.
both we'll call them, they live in the same home. I guess we'll call them siblings. Not by blood. But that
By
was
adoption.
yes, but
By
exactly.
choice. Right?
By
Yeah.
choice, yes. So that's just a few examples. I could go on and on. But here's a really, do you want to see the one that I get the most, I think, probably the funniest of all my pictures, at least in this book? Because what happens, and you'll find this too, if you're ready with your camera, whether you're doing video or stills. I was doing a photo session at a pet event where people come, and it's called the Super Pet Expo in New Jersey. And the next person was waiting with their pet to be photographed, because I set up a whole background and everything. So I was photographing this little guy, and then in comes a friend who, you didn't even know this dog, but then this moment just happened. And then this is the saying that I can't take credit for the words, but if you can read it, make at least one remarkably different friend in your life.
Well,
So,
that applies to everything, really.
it does. It does. Thanks to the internet especially, I'm able to make friends every day. I hop into a room like this, or a networking group. For example,
Yeah.
tomorrow morning I co-host a networking group. It's amazing how many people I can meet if I just turn on my camera and am open having a nice conversation.
So we have a question in one of the private chats over here. It says, for someone pulling out their phone to catch a moment, what do you do about lighting?
Okay, this is like a 10-part answer, but I'll give the top one or two. Number one, look for a window and ideally place the animal next to the window and the window light. So, for example, do this easily. I'll make this book the window. That way it's easier. So this is a window, and then your pet is right in front of the window. So this is the window. The light is coming through. There's your pet, and then you are over here. I'm sorry, right here. And then that way you get this beautiful side light on your pet who's right in front. It's funny, right here. And that's the best advice I can give you is window light. Just take some time, walk around. Sometimes it's not possible to move your pet, but
Right.
then just wait until the light
Shush.
is right. So that's just a really the best example I can give for window light. Now, other lighting, there's all kinds of different options for lighting. One is to change the bulbs, let's say in your home, so that they're balanced between cool and warm. Sometimes people have very cool light in their home. I won't go into all the color temperatures, but when you go and you buy bulbs, and I recommend LED bulbs, you can choose warm, medium, or cool. So I recommend something in the middle. That way, whether you're doing individual photographs or whether you're doing video, the light generally is going to be very pleasing. And so that's just an example of the actual, when you're using artificial light. Now, you can also buy a fixture, something as simple as a clamp-on fixture that takes a screw-in light bulb, and then you can put that anywhere you want. Just be careful, obviously, if there's a wire, you don't want animals to trip over it, and don't leave it on without supervision. So that's my recommendation with that.
That's very interesting that you should actually bring that up, because all right, so there's incandescent, fluorescent, LED, all that stuff.
Yes.
Clearly natural lighting. What is your favorite out of those four choices?
Whatever gets the most wonderful photographs, whatever gets the photograph. For example, on one of my photographs of a brother and sister and their dog, I used a combination,
Mhm.
and what that was natural light, and then 4 bulbs in a fixture. So what I did is natural light is daylight, and then I used 4 bulbs that were also balanced to daylight. You might call it cool if you were just using a word that you would find in Lowe's or Home Depot.
Well, would that be incandescent or?
Now that was, in that case, it was fluorescent, which I don't use anymore. The
Okay.
corkscrew type bulbs, I don't recommend those, because now we have LED bulbs, which are really, really outstanding. So what I would recommend in that case, sometimes it is best to have a mix of the two,
Okay.
but usually if you're photographing around 10 a.m., 10:30 a.m. most times of the year, and then around 4 or 5, 6 o'clock p.m., it depends, of course, the time of the year, when the light is not way up high in the sky, but it's coming down, it's not setting, it's between high up in the sky and the setting
Mhm.
position, then you don't generally need anything. But there are some really great tips for that. But let me show you an example of a really great type of fixture, which you can see here, which you
Oh, that's
can
great,
purchase
dude.
these just about anywhere. And then
That's
you can,
great.
what's nice is when the bulbs go in here, they get filtered, which is fantastic because then you get filtered light, and then you can move them around. They call it the Medusa light, and so you can end up getting some really, really outstanding images.
You said filtered light, so that's a new terminology for me. What would that entail?
Okay, so filtered light, and here's the picture I was talking to you about the brother in the side. Hold on. So you can see you can't really tell that I mixed it. You would think that this is all outside, but I used 4 bulbs in a fixture in order to lighten up their faces, and it worked out perfectly.
Okay.
And as far as filtering, like right now, I happen to have a very simple product filtering some of my lights, and that is a soup cup. And you
Huh.
can see the difference before and after. So that's just one example of filtering light. And then
Okay.
there's all kinds of different ways to use different shades and put things in front of the lights. But for most people, you can just use a product like I use there, or if you use like a clamp on light from like a hardware store, something so simple. And tread carefully, because if you put an incandescent lamp in there that's hot, you have to be careful. So just be careful, and if you're going to put anything in front of it, like a piece of wax paper or parchment paper or some other material, cheesecloth in front. But that can also help to soften or subdue the light. And here's a really great product, which is, now this is more, you can use this both with continuous light, like a strong flashlight, or with a flash. In this case, I have a flash, and then I'm using a wireless transmitter on my camera, which takes the picture so that it flashes from a distance when I photograph the subject, but you can see it's going through this umbrella, which gives you really, really outstanding light. In this case, you get this. You can get different levels of intensity, but that's just one example. So, yeah, there's a lot of different options.
Anthony, do you have any questions? I
Yeah,
got
so
some
I
more
asked in our
questions.
YouTube chat. I said, "Tell us your favorite pic of your fur babies. Favorite picture of your fur babies." So our show's main sponsor, Deb, she said, "My favorite picture is of my guy after coming off of a few days illness, standing on the couch but eating from his dish, which was placed on the floor in front of it." Now I've seen this picture, and the dog is standing on the couch, front and paws forward, eating on the dish. And she said she thinks he just did not want to give up his spot on the couch. But that was a great picture of little Bill. It was incredible.
So I've photographed so many dogs, including when I was a homestay student in Japan. We had a wonderful dog named Jiro, which means second son. So I had a younger homestay brother, so I was the third son. So that's just one example. It's amazing how meaningful those photographs are, especially if they're puppies and as they get older. So there's so many. And here's something else that you may want to consider. Sometimes it's fun to dress in complementary clothing to your pet. So here's an example.
Oh, look at that.
Mhm.
Look at
And
that.
so
Yeah, you could do
I
that
just
with a
love that.
Chihuahua, but
Anthony, you need to dress in orange next podcast,
I
bro.
love orange. Orange is my favorite color. But I wouldn't want to try to have a horse standing on my chest like that. Like that wouldn't be a good photograph.
Now, in this case, the dog's not wearing any clothing. However, I think it matches perfectly with his owner's clothing because of the
Oh
color
yeah.
of the dog.
Oh
So you
wow,
can
look
see.
at that. Look at that. That's a great shot, man.
Oh, thank you. So I just love capturing these special moments of
Yeah.
people and their pets.
Yeah.
It's really wonderful.
Me too. Like I have a bunch of selfies. They're not near as cool as my dog pet
Awesome.
photographs.
So Andrew, if people wanted to purchase your books or learn more about you or employ your services, where can they find you? What's your website, your contact information? How do they go about doing that stuff?
Okay, the easiest way, first of all, the books are available anywhere books are sold. Some of them may be a little harder to get, but you can often find them just because they were published a while ago. So most people go to Amazon, and you can just look up my author page on Amazon, and then from there you can find the books just about anywhere. And as far as where to find me, a lot of people can find me on Facebook. I'm probably one of the only Andrew Darlows there. You can just send me a message there. If you're on LinkedIn, feel free to send me a connection request, and I can potentially connect with you there. And then as far as websites, I have a website called candidk9.com, and there I put photographs, and I'll add some news and things like that, and there's a contact form there. So, but the easiest way and the fastest way is Facebook, because I have my messaging open if you want to send me a note. And what's coming up, what I'm most excited about, I've done 5 what I call pet story parties, where I bring pets together with their owners, and they don't have to always be in the room. Often it's just their owners, and it's on Zoom, and we talk about pets from our past and our present. There's often many funny moments and some Kleenex moments, as you may expect when you bring a bunch of heart-centered pet lovers together. And we just talk about stories about our pets, and it's amazing what comes up. And sometimes what's really most heartwarming is that people will sometimes talk about something they're struggling with, and it could be anything, often related to pets. And other people, they may have been through it already multiple times. So there's a lot of great support that comes out of that community. And I also will talk about my services, which I'm able to do anywhere in the world, which is really exciting. And I'll often show some of my photographs that I've done from different places. And so it's just a blessing to be able to bring these people together. And my next pet story party will almost definitely be a fundraiser. So I'm excited about that, so I can raise money for a pet related charity or multiple. And I'm excited about it. I'm just putting it all together. So if people out there have particular pet related charities that, especially in the United States to start, then I would love to hear about them, maybe meet the people who run it and see if they may be ideal for me to help support.
Well, that is a grand ending to this, by the way, because we love to support nonprofits and pets and other small businesses, veterans affairs, and all that. With that, I'm going to close this out with our sponsor, debspets.com. That's DEBSPETS.com. Anthony, close us out, my brother.
Well, as always, thank you all for watching. Thank you, Andrew, for being here and for the fun and refreshing stories. And thank you for letting us know we can get a hold of you. As always, to our listeners, listen, we're here for you. We'd rather have that 3 a.m. conversation with you than to hear your name in the headlines the next morning. So please feel free to reach out. Anything that we can do to help you, we're here for you. And if we can't help you, we will find somebody who will.
Wrote a song about it. See it below. Love you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad that you joined us for At World of Pets podcast. We would like for you to take a look at what our sponsors have to offer, and that sponsor is debspets.com. You can access it through the QR code, or you can just go to the website. So thank you for joining us, and hope to see you again next week.